In Psalm 130, verse 7, it says, Israel, put your hope in the Lord, for with the Lord is unfailing love, and with him is full redemption. Just as you're using the band to pull through and strengthen your muscles, remember that God is using his love and redemption to pull you through life's challenges. With every rep, recall the unfailing love and full redemption available to you through faith in Jesus Christ. May this exercise remind you to anchor your hope in him and find strength in his presence. I'm Raman Hunter. Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the band pull through. This is a hip hinge exercise, and it really targets your glutes, muscles in your lower back, as well as your hamstrings. Now, it's a variation to some other different types of exercises. For example, the hip thrust. If you have difficulty going into that position and loading your hip in that position for the hip thrust, this is an alternative that you can use to strengthen your glutes, to really form the nice rounded contour of your glute muscles and really help to develop that athleticism and athletic look and help with hip mobility as well as pelvic movement and spinal stability, all right? That's the real importance of the gluteal muscles. It really helps with those different functions and overall functionality and functional performance. Now, what I'll be using is a resistance band. So I have the resistance band here. You can use a large resistance loop. You can use a resistance tube. You can use a stacked cable pulley machine, all right? So this exercise can be done pretty much anywhere. If you have a resistance band with you, it can be done in a park, can be done at home. You can anchor it around a grill. Make sure the anchor is at the foot level, all right? So you anchor it low. So the anchor is low. So I have the resistance band anchored around the stable object. Make sure it is anchored around something that won't topple over with you, something that is stable enough and that won't move or shift with you. And if it is that you want to increase the resistance of the pull or you want to increase the intensity of the exercise, you can always double up on the resistance band, or you can use a heavier resistance band or a loop or a tube or whichever of the equipment that you have. All right. So I have the resistance band here anchored around a stable object at the level of my feet. I'm going to step over. So you're straddling the resistance band. You're going to step out somewhere to pick up the slack. All right. You have the band between your legs and you're holding both ends like this. Okay. So you can have feet shoulder width apart or hip width apart, whichever foot position is more comfortable for you. You can have the toes facing outwards a little bit, so you have a little external rotation because that's another function of the gluteus maximus. It helps to externally rotate the hip. And so when you stand up and squeeze, you get a stronger contraction of the gluteal muscles, all right? So what you're trying to do is really develop the strength, the endurance, and it also helps with hypertrophy of the gluteal muscles. Okay, it helps to develop your gluteal muscles. So you can turn the feet slightly outwards, about 15-20 degrees out. If you want, or you can keep them straight. You can have a wide stance, or you can bring in your feet a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, as if you're in a squat position. And of course, the arms, the elbows are extended. All right, you don't want to be bending the elbows. You don't want to be bending the elbows like this. And pulling with your hands, all right? So you have your hands locked into the thighs, the front part of the thighs, so the elbows are extended, the hands are against the thighs, knees are slightly bent, feet are a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, toes facing outwards a bit, and you're going to allow the band to pull you down, pull you through. So allow the hands to go through the legs a little bit. You're hinging at the hips. So don't bend with the knees too much. So you're not doing like this. All right? Don't bend with the knees. You just soften the knees a little bit. Start in standing position. Allow the band to pull you through. Hip it, hinging at the hips. until your torso or your trunk is almost parallel to the floor. All right? So allow the hands to go through the legs a little bit. And then what you're going to do is contract your glutes, squeeze the glutes. You're going to pull from the hips, all right? Pull from the hips, straighten up. And as you reach the top of the upright position, give the glutes a contraction. So squeeze the glutes together. Squeeze them together, and then back down again. Allow the band to pull you through. Pull your hands through the legs until your torso is about parallel to the floor. Keep the back nice and straight. Don't curl the back like this. You're not going all the way through. Keep your back nice and upright. 45 degrees or almost parallel to the floor in terms of your trunk. Hinging at the hips. And then straighten up. Squeeze the glutes together at the top of the lift. All right? Down again. So if it is that you have pain while performing a deadlift, this is an alternative to that because it helps to reduce the lower back pain that you probably would have experienced by performing the deadlift because of the angle of pull is different. The angle of pull for the pull through is behind you, whilst the angle of pull for the deadlift is in front of you. And so it puts a little bit more loading on your lower back. So if it is that you have a predisposed lower back problem and you've been having lower back pain because of that, then this exercise is an alternative. You can probably start off with this one, and then as you get better and your back has gotten stronger, more resilient, and you have less lower back pain or no lower back pain, then you can move to doing the deadlift if it is that you so desire. And this exercise also helps to encourage good form and technique, right? So if you have difficulty again performing the deadlift because of improper form, it's a bit technical and you don't really get it that easily, then you can start off with this exercise because it really helps with the hip hinge, as I'm doing here. And then as you get better with the hip hinging, moving from the hips, then you can progress and move to the deadlift. Okay? Again, you're not bending with the elbows, you're not pulling with the arms. You just allow the hips to go down, hinging at the hips, up and contract. Okay? Down, allow the hands to go through, up, squeeze the glutes. Keep the arms steady, keep the elbows straight, squeeze the glutes, shoulders back and chest up. Keep your chest nice and up, maintain that little arch in the back. You don't have to go down too low. It's about 45 degrees or almost parallel to the floor. Do it according to your comfort, but try and keep your back straight, keep your chest up. If you find your back curling like that, you would have gone down too low. Ease up a little bit and just remain in that position, right? Continue with that position, that posture, while doing the exercise. This is a wonderful exercise to use. It can be as an introductory exercise to other movements, other exercises. If it is that you have lower back problem and you're not too sure about performing this exercise, I strongly advise you to seek medical advice and counsel from the physiotherapist or a medical doctor first before performing this exercise. Otherwise, some that is a wonderful exercise to include into your program if you don't want to go through the rigors of setting up the hip thrust station for that exercise, for the hip thrust exercise, and loading on a whole heap of loading on a whole heap of plates onto the barbell. Then this is an alternative. You can use a cable stack machine, and you can perform this exercise and get a similar effect with regard to working your glutes. Remember to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm Roman Hunter. Have a wonderful day. Blessings.